There's a type of criminal that I will never understand for as long as I live. It's the kind that always says, "Oh, I've got children. I've got small children. Please, guys, I don't want any mess coming to me. I've got small children." As if when you were conspiring and commissioning crimes, you did not have children. Why suddenly now you remember that you have children? Because your number one priority, especially when you are a parent or even thinking of becoming a parent, is to think about them. And that should be enough to deter you from commissioning or committing or even conspiring to commit a crime. Because once the crime has been commissioned by you or participated in that crime, it's like toothpaste. The moment it leaves the tube, you can't get it back in. You can't suck it back in. It's out. Just like the crime that you engaged yourself in, it's done. So, what's going to happen? Of course, justice is going to come after you. Unfortunately, you decided that you are going to sleep with the dogs, and now the fleas are all over you, and you are like, it's too late. Whom am I talking about? I remember when Olani Nzinza took the stand in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, there was an exchange of WhatsApp between him and a Miss Klasheka. And Miss Klasheka then told Mr. Nzinza that, hey, I've got a small child. I've got a small child. Now that everything started to unfold, at first I told myself, let me listen what participation or how she participated either on the good side or on the bad side. But I suspected, as a person who is a superior to Mr. Nzinza, she definitely was with the dogs. And now the fleas are busy biting her. She is now saying, hey, I've got a small child. Once again, guys, everything that is being said in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, there are still allegations. So allegedly, all right? But allegedly as it is, you still always have to think, especially when you are a parent, your child or your children should always be the ultimate, like the begin or end all. And that's what should guide you to walk the straight and narrow. Because one mistake, their lives will be ruined for the rest of their lives because of the decisions that you have taken. So, listening to Kolane, once again, I felt like I could just burst into the screen and just hug Mr. Nlinza. You could tell that he was such a broken man as he was testifying. But even though he tried to have a strong, assertive voice, but me, I always look through the eyes. The eyes always tell me what is actually happening on the inside. And I can tell you, Mr. Kolani Nlinza is very broken. Not only broken, he is disappointed, highly, highly disappointed in a system that he passionately walked into, whether with a qualification or no qualification. He did what needed to be done in order to serve the people of Ekuruleni. He's a leader. But unfortunately, the dark forces, they were too powerful. I mean, again, dark forces will always be powerful. Let's not lie to ourselves. But it only has such a short life, though, because one thing I know about goodness, it always prevails. And right now, what happened on the 6th of July 2025 was that part where God says, I will not tempt you beyond what you can bear. The harassments that Xolani Nlinza experienced in the hands of the city manager, in the hands of Julius Mkwanazi, because he was enabled by the city manager. And somebody was asking me, what sort of relationship do you think Julius Mkwanazi and this doctor had, the city manager? I said, well, looking at her age and looking at the age of Julius Mkwanazi. I think it's more like a mother-son relationship. I think maybe I'm not saying Mzwa. I think Julius Mkwanazi had maybe he was looked as the son that the doctor never had. And so she became very protective of him. And once you're a favorite child, you're never wrong in the eyes of your parent, whether it's your father or your mother, especially if it's your mother to a son. You are never wrong. So whatever he wants, he gets type of situation. Even though some people think, maybe Shai Vinky Vongo, I was like, oh, I don't know. But to me, using my own instincts, I think it was a motherly son relationship type of situation where now the parent figure was even breaking laws and regulations, things that she never did before. Because even Mr. Claudane said, I have served under 5 city managers, and she being the fifth one. And in her first term, she did not behave in that manner because what's his name? Julius was nowhere in the picture. The moment Julius came in the picture, boom, she changed. So sometimes I don't know, in Zulu we have this thing ukuthi umuntu uba nesichitho, umuntu uba nesithunzi, umuntu ebe nesinyama. I guess Julius Mkwanazi ube nesithunzi to the good doctor. I don't know how to put it, like dark, like good aura, bad aura type of situation. So I guess Julius had a good aura in this lady. That is why she took him under her wings and protected him and broke the law in the process. Again, all these are allegations, and also we are speculating in between. So I think that was the relationship. What if it was Vinky Vonko relationship? Well, Ben 10 did exist and still exists to this day. Allegedly, there was a minister of water and sanitation at some point who had a Ben 10 and things did not turn out. It happens. I don't know, but to me, it sounded more like a son mother relationship type of situation. Anyways, let's move on to the second story. Guys, this video right here was sent to me because I did not finish watching when Shamila Batoki was in parliament at the head of committee, and I did not see this part. It was brought to my attention, and I was asked what my thoughts are, and here it is.
You failed the Senzo Meyiwa family. Your prosecutors have failed the Senzo Meyiwa families. This case has been going on for many years, and people who were supposed to be, in their view, to be held accountable, they are untouchable. May you please, before you leave the office, encourage your prosecutors to do the right thing.
I will not sit here and accept the blame on the part of the prosecutors for the absolute disaster in the prosecution of the Senzo Meyiwa case. I can give details of the fact that there were two teams in the police that were investigating this matter. One reporting to the minister, one reporting to the national commissioner. And these teams were at loggerheads with each other. If I recall correctly, they may even, I stand to be corrected, they may even have been dockets open by one team against the other. It was a total mess. There were requests by the teams for specific prosecutors from the Johannesburg office. There were allegations that against certain prosecutors. And in an effort to salvage the case, I discussed the matter with the DPP of Pretoria and Gauteng and said, we're going to take this case out of Johannesburg and transfer jurisdiction to Pretoria, get a prosecutor from Pretoria to look at both the dockets, at all the evidence, and decide on how to proceed and unravel this total mess in this case.
So, number one, so I am on my knees begging for you to like the video because it turns out that you don't like my videos when you watch them, and as a result, you are hurting my channel. Please, I beg, smash me the like button. No, I'm waiting for you to smash the like button. Smash the like button. I'm not going anywhere. Smash the like button. I'm on my knee. I'm on my knees. Yeah, I'm begging. Thank you. Now let's continue with the video. I want to say thank you to the MKP party for asking Shamila the exact thing that we've been asking for a very long time. And now that we know the answer, and the answer is not surprising to a lot of us, because this is exactly what we've been saying since 2023, July, when the matter was de novo, right? We said this is an unfair trial, and I even went as far as saying I don't believe by just observing the trial itself that the Meyiwas will ever get justice. And I even said, it breaks my heart to say this, and I even went as far as saying, I think the Meyiwas will have to grab the reality that they will never know the answer as to what exactly happened to Senzo Meyiwa on the 26th of October 2014. We all suspect that somebody that was with Senzo Meyiwa, amongst the friends that he was with on that particular night, pulled the trigger. And I've said that was accidental. It was done accidentally, but they messed it up by creating a script. And now comes Batohis. This is unacceptable in any democracy, especially a constitutional democracy. Because if you read Section 35 of the Constitution, it speaks about a fair trial. And when I'm talking, this is the head of MPA. This is the decision maker as to who will be prosecuted and who is not going to be prosecuted, like how Palapala is situation and all these other heinous crimes that have been committed by politicians and they are not in orange jumpsuits. She makes that decision for them to be prosecuted. And she comes and she admits that this entire trial is a mess. So you are busy prosecuting a mess. How is that fair? How is that fair? That's not a fair trial. And we've been saying it, screaming it from the mountaintop, that the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial is an unfair trial because, number one, you have the wrong people being prosecuted for a crime they did not commit. And then on top of that, one man that was put into this whole mess, Ubab Absalom Zungu, comes with his own notes because he needs to ask some questions. But he gets stopped and say, and then the judge is like, what does the law say? Instead of saying, hey, we all know this is a mess. But let's also hear him, but notwithstanding that the law, this is how it stands. But no, let's chop him off, let's cut him off, let the nation not know. Let the nation not know. Because all of this is a fabrication. This entire trial is a fabrication. If two entities, one entities under the same law enforcement, you have a minister of police and you have a national police commissioner disagreeing, butting heads about one matter. And then the MPA decides to take one side, but does not incorporate both sides. How is that a fair trial at the end of the day? It's not a fair trial. And that is why I am asking now, Ms. Shamila Batohi, now that you have concluded that this is a mess, the Senzo Meyiwa is a mess, why aren't you making the decision to withdraw? You have that power. Withdraw these charges against the man that stand accused of unaliving Senzo Meyiwa. At your own admission, this is a mess. And that goes directly to Section 35 of the Constitution. You, as the NPA head, you are violating these men's constitutional rights to a fair trial. This is by your own admission in the error committee. What is this? What is this? Anyways, those of you wanted to know my thoughts, those are my thoughts. This is an unfair trial, and I don't think the Meyiwas will ever get justice, ever. As long as the MPA continues to protect the people that were with Senzo Meyiwa on the 26th of October 2014, there's no justice. Clearly, they have set on their conscience and they are now used to it. It's second nature to them. That even if you take me understand the lies is now the truth. But the men that stand accused of unaliving Senzo Meyiwa, they are not it. They are not it. If I was Shamila, I would ask Mr. Zungu to come to my office so that we get to understand how he got himself involved in this. And it's clear that Osizwe Zungu would go home unannounced to condition his father into thinking that he's the one who told him about the Senzo Meyiwa unaliving being committed by Umuz. That's what he was doing, was conditioning him, because sometimes some people think, old man, and then from there he would think actually he's the one who said that. This man knows his truth. Absalom Zungu. It's heartbreaking, honestly speaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Now let's talk about Cedric Nkambulu. What's his name? What's his surname again? Cedric Nkabinde, the EA of Senzo Mchunu, because there's no way that you are a chief of staff when you are managing your principal's diary, meetings, and arranging meetings. That's not done by a chief of staff. A chief of staff has an EA himself or herself. I'm sorry. So, anyways, as I had predicted, that not exactly predicted, it was an obvious thing that they were wasting their time having Cedric Nkabinde as a witness in the ad hoc committee. They might as well just pack up and leave. And that is the decision that the ad hoc committee members decided to do. And I said, that's a good decision. And now that he has perjured himself, he needs to go to jail. Then I read online that the EFF was going to police station to open a case of perjury, and then I said, awesome. But I thought that case should have been opened by the chairperson of the ad hoc committee, because that is the presiding officer. I get that the EFF, they're also trying to score political points here by running first to the police station. But the custodian of the ad hoc committee is the chairperson. And it's the chairperson who should have gone. And this should have been a meeting amongst the members in the ad hoc committee to resolve that the chairperson goes to the police station and open a case of perjury against Cedric Nkabinde. I mean, this should send a very strong message to anybody that is going to take the stand going forward. Yeah. So, that's that. He lied. He planned to come to lie, and he's not a very logical thinker as well. Cedric Nkabinde, I don't know what he was thinking. I'm gonna go there and make a fool of South Africans. You know, when you want to make people fools, you gotta be sharp here as well. Because to sustain a lie, you need to lie, 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 until you win the hearts and souls of those that are listening. You might not win all of them, but at least win some. But when you are illogical, seriously. And now I'm wondering, and I'm worried for you, Mr. Cedric, when you go to the Madanga Commission of Inquiry, you're not going to get a circus there. You are going to get former Constitutional Court judge. Yeah. And you're also going to get Mr. Baloyi, who's quite sharp. And then you're also going to get, Mr. Kumalo. And then you're going to get Miss Baloyi, who's also very, very sharp. You are going to crumble under them. You're going to crumble under them, unfortunately. And then the last one, as I had ended my earlier video, thinking, hey, Ntatam Kwanazi is going to brief the nation about an individual. Turns out, well, it was not him. It's his acting deputy provincial commissioner, Mr. Gopal. Mr. Gopal was like, hey, you are going to a police station somewhere in Gauteng to open a case of defamation against Mr. Komalo because Turns out, this is why YouTubers will tell you that if you are accused of a crime, do not call the media. Shut it. Because you could actually, not that we say get away with it, but what we're saying is do not draw attention to yourself. Things will be unfolding in the background anyway. There'll be investigations and all of that stuff because he is the one who actually amplified everything that he said in that media conference when he went to open a case against Dumsane Kumalo, the head of crime intelligence. And now Gopal was like, oh, hang on. The police officer in Pretoria that wiped out your criminal records, they were recovered. And it turns out it's 29 criminal charges that this man, this Shanik guy, I think is the bodyguard of Cedric Nkabinde. Yeah, the guy that was sitting behind Cedric Nkabinde when Cedric Nkabinde appeared in the other committee. Yeah, that dude. And I was like, ooh, this is why YouTubers say, shut up. Shut up. You are drawing attention to yourself. And now all hell broke loose for him. And that is why they called the press conference that they did. And the reason why I believe Nkatom Corners was not the one that addressed the media is because Mr. Gopal is responsible. It's like, what's his name? Cedric Sibia's responsibility by at provincial level, heads of detectives and investigation and stuff like that. So he was like, well, your big mouth guy, this is the charges. And also the police officer. I don't know if they know who that police officer is and what ought to happen to them. Because apparently they wiped out those criminal records or charges or suspicions, and also the magistrates and judges that also are involved in letting him free. So you see the 6th of July, 2025, why it happened. And I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did. But yeah, I will leave everything that transpired today here under one video. And I'm running out of space as well. So let me just say goodbye to you guys. But please do me a big favor. Excuse me. Whew, what's happening? Please, I beg, I beg, I beg. Smash me the like button and I'll see you later. Goodbye.